Guys, we're winning. Big tech is failing on every front. Okay, you look at the stock prices. You look at the visitors. Okay, Google has seen a 5.3% decline in visits. YouTube 3.8% decline. Facebook 27.7% decline. Twitter 3.5% decline. Amazon 11.6% decline. Twitch 17.5% decline. Even Pornhub 17.1% decline. Their stock prices are all going down, except for Reddit and TikTok, which are going up. Everything else is going down. All right. The big tech bubble is collapsing. We had massive failed products. Look at Apple's stupid goggles. No one wants to buy that crap, right? No one wants to buy it. Massive failure from Apple. Um, the tech industry has thrived. You're probably thinking to yourself, hold on, isn't that just COVID? Isn't that just bounce back from COVID? It's these trends began back in 2019. It's not just COVID. COVID probably helped push this over the edge. It probably helped to hasten the decline of these companies. But fundamentally, we're seeing the bubble pop because big tech has always relied on new users since the start. It was the tech companies, the people trying to make money, who initially pushed the internet onto normies. Right? The internet was just nerds hanging out, making websites, hanging out in chat rooms. No one gave a crap about it. No one gave a shit about it. It was the tech companies that were like, the more people using the internet, the more customers we can have. And so more and more these tech companies, they've been based since the start on the idea of capturing new users and expanding. And for the first time in the history of the internet last year, the number of new users accessing the internet is no longer greater than the previous year. Although you might imagine that, there has been some push to get the global south online, there really hasn't. Still, a third of the human population has never used the internet, and there doesn't seem to be that much of a significant drive to get it. Then, the reason, because these people are poor, they're not going to make tech companies money, and so, the point being, they've run out of new users, and a lot of the people who they gained over COVID are leaving. Where the fuck did I just put my water? Because big tech's business model has never been about innovation, right? Every innovation that has come out of a large tech company was something that nerds could already do, and it was them making it accessible to draw in more new users. But no new users are available. They're running out of new market. They've just run out of people, and so they've been forced to change their business strategy from capturing new users into squeezing every existing user for every last penny. And to put it simply, people aren't paying. No one, we've become accustomed to the idea that these things are freely available and no one has the spare money anyway. So these companies are all panicking, freaking out, they don't know what to do. And, they're, when we see new like innovations in tech, because people are all chasing. They believe their own hype. That's the thing about these people. They believe their own hype. They think that they're the master innovators who are creating new technology, when they're really just taking existing technology and packaging it in something. It's all very silly, right? The last like five new innovations in tech have all just been really slow databases, right? Blockchain was just a slow database. AI, if you squint, is just a slow database. Like, it's just SQL, guys. We already have SQL anyway. Um, so I mean, it really does go to show something, right? If we look at Web3 type stuff, crypto, NFTs, there was a big push for crypto and NFTs, but it was the crypto guys, it was the NFT guys. It was kind of a niche, and big tech did dip their toes in the water, but they still could afford to be kind of tentative on it, right? None of the big tech megacorps really dived head on into it because they could afford to wait, see what happened, and then buy out a company if it did really well, for example. Uh, Now, as those companies have failed, they've done stuff like Facebook's hilarious, hilarious failure of the metaverse, which just, you know, it's so funny how bad they failed there. Just going all in on something that no one wanted and completely failing. It's great. But now you've got this new artificial pseudo intelligence which no profit model has ever been shown to exist. Like no one has any idea how anyone's supposed to make any money off of this. But clearly, they're just desperate, right? They just have you know, uh, this is not like crypto, right? This is even worse because now they can't even afford to be tentative. They have to, they just smell something. It almost looks like a product. That's the thing about like ChatGPT, the artificial pseudo intelligence stuff. It looks kind of like something that might be a product, and they have no choice but to jump head first. And it's going to blow up in their faces because you and I. I mean, it's very obvious. What's the business model here? There is what's how do you make money off of this? No one's figured it out. No one's even trying. And in fact, you look at like the Rabbit R1 and the Humane, whatever it was called, these stupid devices. They crashed and burned hilariously. It was great watching these companies fail. Everyone loved every single person loved watching these companies fail. It was great. Like there's no money to be. No one wants this stuff, and like I don't know what's going on. They just have no option. Clearly, they're in their death knells, right? They have no choice. Like they desperately need something because otherwise they're not going to be making any money and this something is not real. It's not going to work, and so these companies are going to fail. Um, and then you add on to that the fact that you've got based Lena Khan breaking up big tech in the U.S., the head of the FTC, actually doing the FTC's job finally, and obviously all of the everyone's really mad at her. All of the politicians that are in the pocket of big tech and so on are mad at the FTC for actually doing their job finally. But they've done a bunch of good stuff, and right now they're looking into tech company stuff and away from tech. Uh, all stuff that people said to me like, "Oh, you just don't understand economics." When I was going, "Oh, this is price gouging," and everyone was like, "Oh, you don't know about economics." But it turns out, yeah, the petrol industry in the U.S. was price gouging to a criminal degree, which is now being investigated by the FTC, and it's really bad. Probably the greatest corporate theft in world history. You should look this up if you haven't heard. All of these uh, petrol companies and oil companies literally colluded to raise prices at the same time and stole billions of dollars from the American public. And it's now all been revealed, and people might be, I don't know, let's not get too hopeful. There probably no one's going to see jail time or anything, but this story got completely overshadowed by Trump's conviction, but you should look that up. It's like the biggest theft in history. Uh, but this stuff is happening. Okay, Microsoft they've made up this terrible thing, right? Horrible thing where they're like, oh, we're just gonna screen record you all the time, and is going straight to Microsoft servers. And obviously, this is just no one wanted this. It's a terrible idea, and it's a privacy nightmare, and it's being investigated by like the EU and the UK governments immediately because it's like, oh, this is obviously a privacy nightmare. Like these companies just can't keep doing this stuff. Governments are slowly but surely getting on the ball with regulating them. So that's on top of the fact that their business models are failing already. And then you look at a part of the tech industry that people, for some reason, don't consider a part of the tech industry a lot of the time, which is the gaming industry. Like, you have to remember, games companies are tech companies, and they're failing. The AAA gaming industry is collapsing. We're witnessing a huge bubble popping in the AAA games industry. 10,000 jobs were lost in 2023, and over 10,100 jobs have already been lost in 2024 uh, so far. Right, you've got Avalanche. Just yesterday, the studio Avalanche, the guys that made Just Cause, they closed. Arcane, the people who made Redfall, they closed. Tango Gameworks, a company I'd never heard of who made The Evil Within, they closed. And just to be clear, This is very tragic for the people who work at these companies. These layoffs are, seriously going to affect people's livelihoods. It's terrible. CEOs never take pay cuts. It's always the workers who have to bear the brunt when the company fails, and that's very sad to see, of course. But the fact is that these companies are running out of money because they keep making garbage that no one wants. Like, it's very simple. Another third person action movie game with light puzzle elements to break up the flow. You know what game didn't have puzzle elements to break up the flow? A little video game called Quake, maybe the best game ever made. Anyway, meanwhile, the indie scene is doing better than ever. We had Lethal Company, we had Balatro, we had Animal Well, we had Pizza Tower, we had goddamn Lies of P, we have Hades 2. Like, the indie scene it's incredible, the indie games that are coming out. Yeah, Lies of P was an indie game. It's hard to believe. Like, these games are huge, massive. There was also the Shotgun Roulette. Was that what it was called? I don't remember. Whatever, that one. Like, that was a huge game made in Godot, by the way, free open source software. We were always repping Godot. Go play Free Fish game. Uh, the indie scene is doing better than ever, and all of these people that just got laid off from these big companies, I guarantee you, they're going to be ending up making their own amazing indie games. That I'm sure not all of them will, unfortunately, be able to make a living off of that, but I'm sure a lot of them will have great success after being pushed out of the mainstream games industry. Like, these people are creating their own competitors. They're creating their own downfall because they can't make anything other than Horizon Forbidden dog shit. And in the meantime, you've got companies like Valve who are seeing all of this and deciding, you know what everyone wants in the year 2024? A third-person MOBA shooter live service game with no anti-cheat. Like, that's gonna pop off. Like, yeah, everyone's gonna fucking love Deadlock. Like, what are these guys thinking? These guys are so out of touch. It's just a matter of, like, what are they doing? You know what I did yesterday? Yesterday, I hopped on Counter-Strike 1.6. Now, that is a good video game. Okay, I played FY Ice World, I played CS Crack House, I played FY Pool Day, and I played DE Dust 2. And that game is still super active because of community servers, right? And that's the thing, is that is also the same when we talk about decentralizing the internet, taking the internet back from the megacorps. It's not just about websites. That's just one part of the internet. Online video games are also the internet. And when you talk about a decentralized system versus a centralized system being better, well, it's plain to see that many games as old as Counter-Strike 1.6 that had centralized servers on consoles are shut down, and the fans, if they really want to keep playing, have to do all sorts of hacks to set up their own servers, and they die because it requires quite a lot of technical know-how to connect to them, and it's possible to sustain some of these with a big enough community, but oftentimes these games just die. Meanwhile, Counter-Strike, because it has a community servers built into it, it's still super active. I was playing at like 3 a.m. connecting to Russian servers that were full. Like, hundreds and thousands of people play this game. It's insane. And they're not all the same people that have been playing it since the 90s because they're not that good. Like, I do okay against them, right? It's new people who are picking up this game, and it's only possible because of the system of community run servers. And it's the same with TF2. Now, I won't go into too much depth here because I made a video about this on my TF2 channel, which you can find linked below if I remember to do that. It's Fish TF2. But just to briefly go over it, TF2 is currently in the grips of a bot crisis where the official Valve servers are completely unplayable. But, like, because TF2 is an old game, it was made before, TF2 didn't get official servers till the Uber update in 2011. Before that, there were only community servers. And there are still community servers. And the game is still alive despite the unplayable state of casual because of community servers. Because official servers is just another name for unmoderated servers, right? They mean the same thing. Cheaters are just going to prosper in an environment like that. Whereas community servers are generally human moderated, and therefore cheaters get banned. Like, refer to the Fish video for more information on that. But all of this is coming to a head because of the simple fact that capitalism has a short time preference. It's always better to make money now than it is to make money later. I mean, that's why governments build bridges and dams and railways and not tech companies, right? Like, if capitalism has a short time preference, which is one of its biggest flaws as a system. And so your distributed non-commercial alternatives will always win in the end, just by the simple fact that decentralized systems are more resilient than centralized systems. Imagine, and this isn't just about an economic system, or this is just a general systems-wide truth that if you have a centralized top-down hierarchy, or you have, even if you're putting a lot of money into sustaining one node, if everything relies on one node, that's a single point of failure. When that node goes down, the entire network goes down. Whereas a distributed system might have many, many nodes, and some of them might go down, and that's bad, but it doesn't destroy the entire system. The whole network can still stay up even if individual nodes go down. That's why decentralized systems are simply more resilient than centralized systems. And so megacorps might spring up and make $1 bajillion and have a bajillion users on whatever nonsense they make, but the small independent non-commercial internet has been slowly trucking along in the background since the 90s and is just not going anywhere. Oh, AI is going to ruin the internet? Well, here I am on the SDF public access Unix system and I can't see any AI here. Here I am on denpachan.org. There doesn't seem to be any AI here. Yeah, look, I mean Denpachan, it's slow. These places are going to be slow by nature, but that's the thing. There's many of them. Rather than having one centralized, really fast place, you have many slower places that you check into. It's great. It's a good system. I've been doing this for years. It's fine. Now, it's not perfect. I've even, just to mention, I've even seen people like moving off of Discord and going back to TeamSpeak. Okay, that's how much people hate this shit. But to be fair, we can never truly go back, right? So I've been struggling with being a little too addicted to Twitter. I know it's embarrassing. And so I decided to finally block x.com in my etc host file. So I blocked it, and it was great. It stopped me from scrolling Twitter, but unfortunately, it made me realize quickly how often I get like sent a Twitter link, or I'm on some independent website and something links back to Twitter, or just the amount of times that I see link that the internet relies on links that go to Twitter. And it's like, this is stuff I actually want to see. This isn't just mindless scrolling. This is like something my friend sent me that is actually going to be interesting towards me, or something like that, right? And so because of that, I actually ended up unblocking Twitter. Which then immediately I went back to doom scrolling because I'm not immune to propaganda. But stuff like that is going to be a problem. But at the end of the day, we all know that Twitter is not making any money right now, right? Like they are surely failing as a company. Surely they're going to run out of money eventually. It has to happen. Maybe Elon Musk will never run out of money. Maybe he's built of money. But they're eventually going to ruin the website so bad that it becomes unusable. It's already becoming worse and worse and worse. Um, maybe I should reblock. Maybe I should reblock it and just ignore the fact that there are Twitter links. It's annoying though because of the Japanese artist that I want to follow. I see. Oh man, I missed the Japanese artist. How am I going to save my reaction images now? But it's just a simple fact. The big tech bubble is bound to burst, and at the end of the day, we're winning.